Hey, welcome to Film Turbo. Today we will briefly tell you the film without shame. We see how a young guy is riding a train and seeing a policeman immediately jumps off him. His young and impudent name is Tatik, and he accidentally meets a young girl, but unfortunately it's time to leave, and the guy also needs to go because he came to his sister. Along the way, he bought her favorite ice cream. They did not see each other for a very long time. The guy is full of energy, and he finally enters the entrance. He comes to his sister, and he joyfully rings the doorbell, and she comes out naked. The sister did not think that her brother would come, and of course he expected a warm welcome, but this did not happen. She treats him very coldly, all because he is a problem for her. He will have to look after him, give him money, and even take up a place in the house, and most importantly, prevent her from dating a very good guy. Even though all the guys she had before were assholes, which causes her brother to treat the new boyfriend badly, but she says that this is completely different and this is her man. Sister, however, she notices that her brother has grown up, then her boyfriend arrives and before leaving the sister, asks her brother if he loves her, and this happens. A new guy arrives, picks her up in a car, and the Tatik needs to settle down. It just turns out that her new boyfriend occupied his room in which he used to live. Nothing remains but to make a small rearrangement and collapse on the couch. It's already midnight, the sister returns with her dude, they're both drunk. Tatik, of course, took her bed because he was not free, but he was kicked out because they wanted to be together. The brother feels embarrassed and goes to wait for them in the bathroom, so that after their classes, he falls asleep. Morning comes, and this is the moment to finally meet her boyfriend. Meet this Andrei. He turns out to be a completely normal man and is trying to find a common language with Tatik, says that soon we will become a family and everything will be fine. Finally waking up, the Tatik goes to talk with his sister, and she directly asks, "Listen, when will you move out? Maybe we'll send you to a hostel and put you in bed somewhere you came to study." The reason why Tatik came here we will find out later, and all this will be revealed. For now, you can like and subscribe to channel if here for the first time. And so, the sister considers the Tatik still a child, and in fact, he prevents her from establishing her own life and has to give him all sorts of pocket money. Constantly, the sister has to kick him out of the house. And Tatik himself is a good person, and he did not cause problems somehow to his sister, and it is not clear why she has such an attitude towards him. And all because he is simply uncomfortable for her at this point in time. Going out into the street, the Tatik meets girls playing, and among them is the same girl that he saw when he ran away from the train. He greets her and leaves. The girl directly tells her friends that this is her future husband. By the way, the girl's name is Ermina, and we are now watching her. She returns to her area, and there she is treated like a girl who should bring food to everyone. In fact, the men drink alcohol and talk, and the girl feels like a slave. Ermina's father deer in their area, and suddenly, when they are sitting at the table, bandits come running and start destroying everything. And then the bandits broke their car and they run away. Tatik is resting and does not touch anyone. Then his sister calls him, and the guy comes up. She shows him her dress that she cannot afford, and he will have to be returned back, and the guy likes his sister's dress. The days spent together begin to revive the relationship between brother and sister. He is already cooking for her, and they remember the past, laugh together. But abruptly, the brother says such a strange joke that maybe we are not relatives after all, brother and sister. And it turns out that they are really not relatives, they have different fathers. But he says that maybe the mother is also different. Sister tells him that if you're a stranger to me, get out. And Tatik immediately takes offense at her looking at the floor. In general, Tatik decides to review old photographs. They grew up together right from childhood. There is a photo where Enka's sister, let's say, is sunbathing and her body is visible there. The guy is looking at the photo, but we don't know what he will do next with her. A new day comes and sister's boyfriend Dean, all the same, vacate Tatik's room, and also, Andrei turns out to be in bandit groups. He tells him, "Okay kid, I'm sorry I took your room, I shouldn't have. But I have to go for 2 weeks on business." Tatik takes the room and stays exclusively with his sister, and their relationship really starts to improve. They joke and talk among themselves. Then the Basin goes to play football with his old friend, who is also a bandit, and the guy starts asking about Andrei, who is he and what he does. A friend says that this is a respected man, and in their gang he is far from the last person, and moreover he has 2 children and an ex-wife. The brother tells his sister that the guy has 2 children and a wife, and he tries to move her away from Andrei, so that they do not communicate. However, the girl just instantly puts him in his place when she says that she found out why he came. My brother did not pass the exams, and it turns out that he did not come here to live a little, but to fully resettle. Then the girl tells him in his face that it's enough to touch her things and make them feel good, and yes, he really has her things under his pillow. She is completely angry here, telling the guy to pack his things and leave here. The guy is offended by her again. However, their conversation is interrupted by the doorbell. As it turns out, Anka is she hasn't paid for her apartment for a long time and she's already on the verge of a power outage. The man offers her to decide differently, but no, Anka doesn't, such a girl. In general, they give her a little more time and then she will turn off the light. Anka returns home and sees how the Tadic collects things, and then her anger at Mercy changes. She hugs him, and during their dialogue, it turns out that the last time he left, she put him out for door when he was young. They cry and hug, and the Tadic doesn't have to leave anymore. But here, already at night, the Tadic cannot fall asleep in any way. He thinks to go to get a part-time job and actually does this. Meets that girl again by chance, and they finally have a dialogue. She looks at his hand and tells him death there, and then something else. This is the line of life. He says, I just cut myself here. This is a scar. She says, no, you will have hard fate, but in the end, you will become my husband. Tadic returns home, takes ice cream, and sees an adult scene. The sister's future husband is making love to another girl right at her house. Tadic runs out of the apartment, locks them at home, and waits for his sister to show her the situation. At the same time, he shouts to the whole area that everyone is watching him making love to another girl and cheating on my sister. Just then, Anka returns home all on her nerves. Andrea makes excuses to the girl, but it doesn't work out and she kicks him out. And this, of course, plays into the hands of Tadic. He comes to his sister right in the middle of the night and she hugs him, but still says that he should return to his room. Then the Tadic brings the rest of Andrea's things to the bandits and manages to insult Andrea on the phone. The sister becomes a little sorry. Firstly, she fell in love with this man very much and he turned out to be so unfaithful. And getting worse because now their electricity, light and water have been cut off. She is so morally killed and then life gives her problems. And the brother, of course, says that he will help her, and now she is washing the bath. The brother comes up from behind, but nothing not happening. Really, Tadic goes and gets a job as a promoter. He meets that girl by chance, and she treats him very well. She went to study somewhere. Here, Tadic tells the situation, and she, like a good girl, says that she can help him, but the guy refuses. He returns home and cleans his shoes, and his sister comes after work and just falls down. She is tired and morally broken, and at least her brother helps her a little. Without accidentally closing the door, the Tadic becomes a spectator of rather piquant scenes, and it seems that nothing happens, but there is always some kind of tension. And then when the sister was rested and in the mood, they laugh again and again, have a good relationship. Tadic understands that staying with his sister is certainly cool, but you need to have money to pay for the apartment. He decides still come to that girl in her area and ask for help, but as soon as the locals notice him, they immediately think that this is a bandit who broke their car. And of course, they immediately start beating him. The guy is happy because that girl came and saved him. She began to say that this is her own person and you shouldn't touch him or my father will destroy you, the girl says, and her father is respected in these circles. In general, the Tadic asks for help, and they go at night to some abandoned building where they get a carpet. The girl fell in love very much and was ready to help him with all the problems. She helped a man who she absolutely did not know, but she guessed that this was her future husband. Together, they come to the bazaar and want to sell this carpet for 1,000 crowns, but they offer only 300, of course. The Tadic does not know how to bargain and the girl has to take everything into her own hands, but she is very brave and smart. Taking the wool of some sweater, she approaches the peasant and says, look at the quality. This carpet is very great for kids, and in short, she tried to cheat him, and yes, indeed, they were able to sell the carpet even more expensive. Then the girl comes back home, and the men drink again. The father says that the daughter is very smart, and one of the men begins to ask her a lot of questions, and what do you study? Who will you become? And so on. And then it turns out that she wants to go to the doctor, but in their area, it is not customary for girls to be doctors, and the men start laughing at her, saying that maybe you will become a dentist. Erna comes to her mother and asks why she should endure all this at all, but she does not give any clear answer. Mother says that you grew up here and you should be like that. Erna decides to do a very risky act. She takes and steals her father's money in order to help the boy. He is shocked of this, thanks her endlessly, and tells the girl that she can count on him. And the Tadic, of course, first of all pays taxes for the apartment and does not specifically distract his sister in order to surprise her. He sees how she turns on the light, comes to her house, and at that moment she is already washing herself in the bathroom. And he comes to her without shame. She, of course, thanks him, and he still brings her ice cream. The girl does not understand where he gets this money from, and together they eat ice cream right in the bathroom when she is washing. And their gatherings are disrupted by the ringing at the door. The Tadic comes down and sees the girl who helped him. Obviously, at such a late hour, she came for a reason. She tries to talk to him, but he says, no, I'm busy. He does not let her go home, and the Tadic returns to his sister, and she is still washing, and the guy, without shame, undresses completely and jumps into her bath, of course. That's all for now. If you want to continue this story, then subscribe to the channel and I will definitely release it. Don't forget to check out our other videos as well as new videos coming soon. Hit the bell so you don't miss them. See you soon.